Hello and welcome to our training on the Scottish Governance Code for the third sector. We'll be exploring the key aspects of the code, which sets out the core principles of good governance in the third sector. Let's dive into the aims of our session today. Firstly, we'll explore what the Scottish Governance Code actually is. Next, we'll explore the 5 key principles that underpin the Governance Code. Finally, you'll have the opportunity to evaluate your organisation's governance and identify actionable steps to strengthen it. As we move forward, keep these aims in mind and consider how they relate to your experiences. The Scottish Governance Code was developed by Scotland's Third Sector Governance Forum in 2018 and reviewed again in 2022. It outlines the key elements of good governance for boards. It was informed by a wide consultation within the sector and draws on other UK governance codes, particularly those from England, Wales and Northern Ireland, which provided the initial framework. Furthermore, the Scottish Governance Code was created by and for the third sector in Scotland. It sets out best practice in governance for charities, voluntary organisations and social enterprises in Scotland. The Scottish Governance Code is designed for every third sector organisation in Scotland. How the principles are implemented will ultimately depend on each organisation's size, resources and activities. Its 5 core principles provide a framework to help boards review, demonstrate and strengthen their governance. The code is not a legal requirement, but a voluntary tool for continuous improvement, supporting organisations to achieve high standards of governance beyond basic compliance. It uses the term board and trustees to refer to an organisation's governing body, recognising that terminology may vary across different legal and cultural contexts. Finally, the code also places strong emphasis on equality and diversity, recognising that diverse boards, reflecting a range of backgrounds, experiences and perspectives, are more effective and better equipped to make informed decisions. The Scottish Governance Code is built around 5 core principles that define what good governance looks like in practice. Together, they guide boards to lead with clarity, integrity and effectiveness. The 5 principles are organisational purpose, leadership, board behaviour, control and effectiveness. Let's explore the first key principle, organisational purpose. A well-run board knows exactly what the organisation stands for, its purpose and core values. This clarity is crucial because it guides how the organisation achieves its aims. Let's explore the second key principle, leadership. A well-run board knows its role and responsibility, but more importantly, it provides strategic direction. This direction is aligned with the organisation's purpose, vision and values. Let's now focus on the behaviour of a well-run board. The key to board behaviour is to embrace and demonstrate mutual respect, integrity, openness, and accountability. These aren't just buzzwords, they are foundational principles that guide the board's conduct and decision-making processes. Let's talk about control. A well-run board doesn't just set goals, it actively develops and implements controls to guide the organisation towards these goals. Controls are not just about restriction, they're about ensuring progress and performance align with the organisation's mission, allowing the board to oversee and direct effectively, providing a clear framework within which the organisation can thrive. Understanding the effectiveness of a board is crucial to an organisation's success. A well-run board knows its role, powers, and duties. It's not just about having the knowledge, but also about how this knowledge translates into action. The board works collectively and proactively, meaning that members are not just reactive, but are planning ahead to fulfil the organisation's purpose. Using the Scottish Governance Code in your organisation isn't about following a set of rules. Rather, it's a tool to help you assess and enhance your governance practices. The main way is to use the code as a lens to explore your current governance practices and identify any areas that need improvement or gaps that need filling. To help with this, we've created a few questions for each principle of the code to help you get started and reflect on your current governance practices and explore potential gaps. For organisational purpose, you might want to ask yourself, is our organisation's purpose clearly defined, understood, and often reviewed? And how do we measure progress towards achieving our aims? For leadership, you might want to consider whether the board provides clear strategic direction in line with its purpose and vision. And if the roles and responsibilities within the board are clearly defined and understood. When reflecting on board behaviour, consider if board members model respect, integrity, openness and accountability in all interactions. Consider how the board handles disagreements or conflicts of interest. And finally, ask yourself, is there a culture that encourages challenge, debate and collective decision making? For control, you might want to ask yourself, do we have effective systems to monitor performance, finances and compliance? How often do we review risk management and internal controls? When exploring the effectiveness of your organisation, consider whether the board has the right mix of skills, experience and diversity to achieve the organisation's goals. A further question to consider is if meetings are well structured, inclusive and focused on strategic priorities. And finally, how do you ensure continual learning and improvement amongst board members? Once you've identified the governance gaps or issues that need to be addressed in your organisation, it might be useful to develop an action plan to guide your next steps on your governance journey. SCVO provides a good governance checkup to support you in this process. The Good Governance Checkup is not only a diagnostic tool, but a proactive step towards continuous improvement. The service helps you assess where you're doing well, but it also goes a step further by providing a bespoke action plan tailored specifically to your organisation and highlights areas where there's room for improvement. The Scottish Governance Code is there to support your governance journey. Keep it by your side and use it as a tool to support continuous improvement. Its purpose is to strengthen governance effectiveness within your organisation and within the third sector across Scotland. And finally, think of the code as a roadmap, a guide that sets the standard we can all aspire to. We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's take a moment to revisit the key ideas that we've discussed. We began by developing an understanding of the Scottish Governance Code, exploring its role within the third sector and how it can be applied to strengthen governance practices. Next, we explored the 5 key principles that underpin the code: organisational purpose, leadership, board behaviour, control and effectiveness. Finally, we looked at how to put the code into practice within your organisation. By reflecting on each principle and answering key questions, you evaluated your organisation's governance, identified areas for improvement, and considered practical steps to strengthen it, including using SCVO's Good Governance Checkup as a support tool. There are some great resources that you can use to support you in your governance journey. Check out Scotland's Third Sector Governance Forum, which brings together experts with extensive knowledge of governance and leadership across the sector. The forum's partners work collaboratively to strengthen governance and leadership through a strategic sector-wide approach. Next, take time to explore the Scottish Governance Code itself. Print out a copy and keep it handy as you work to strengthen governance in your organisation or address any governance challenges that arise. As mentioned earlier, make use of SCVO's Good Governance Checkup to help you assess your organisation's governance and identify clear next steps for improvement. Finally, remember that TSDG is here to support you locally. We offer tailored advice and guidance on a range of topics, including governance, and can connect you with a community of peers, resources and experts to help you on your governance journey. Remember, governance is a journey, and so keep reflecting, keep learning, and keep improving. If you'd like more information or support on any of the topics covered in this session, please get in touch with your Locality Development Officer using the contact details provided here. We look forward to hearing from you.